Hey everyone, welcome to Ask Amy. I'm doing this today at a little bit different time than usual because I have a dental issue that I could only get resolved at the time of our typical Ask Amy. So anyway, it's all good. I know a lot of you watch this after the fact, so hopefully that's not messing up too much. So I have a question today from Charlotte, which is a really great one that I'm excited to look at. So let me find it here. So Charlotte says, "Hi Amy, I'm an aspiring artist and writer, and I'm so scared of creative blocks. I know it's just in my head, but I keep worrying about it. I just finished a project a few days ago, but right after I finished it, I already felt stressed out about my next one. I'm almost hoarding my favorite ideas because I'm so scared that I will run out one day or lose my creativity, since most of my ideas just come to me at random times when I'm not even trying. But to do this as a career, I need to have consistent ideas. I'm scared that ideas will stop coming eventually, and it feels so out of my control. I don't feel like I can intentionally come up with good ideas I'm happy with. But I know liking ideas is just in my head as well. I really don't want to quit this because I've quit so many other things, but I'm scared that this job is so mentally difficult and good ideas are so elusive. I have a list of ideas I once liked that I planned on executing in the future, but I start thinking that most of them aren't good enough or even worth executing. And I keep having higher standards for my work and nothing feels good enough. I just really want my work to be good, and I feel like I have no control over when interesting ideas come to me. I don't know what to do. Thank you so much." So, Charlotte, gosh, you're right. It's just a lot of thinking, really. I feel for you because we all know, like, we can all relate to that, creative or not, artist, writer, in that sense, like, creative person who makes their living this way or not. We can hear where you are with this and where it's like, what if, and oh my gosh, and it's so hard, and what if they run out, and just the whole heaviness of all of that, so much heaviness around it. And, you know, it's incredibly simple, Charlotte, and incredibly reliable to see that when we feel boxed in the way that you sound like you feel, when we feel that heaviness, when we feel that feeling of lack and not enough and hoard my ideas and what if they stop and the what if this and what if that and all of that what if. Always, Charlotte, please hear this. I'm not exaggerating one iota. Always, 100% of the time, that is our mind. That is not truth. That is not you predicting the future. That is not you picking up on some accurate thing that you need to get in there and fix and solve for, any of that. It is the brain part. It's the conceptual, intellectual, creative imagination part of us that's full of fear, that's full of limitation, that sees things as extremely black or white, on or off, everything's a potential threat. Like, it's that part just working in overdrive. And thank goodness you feel heavy. Thank goodness you feel stuck and it's getting your attention in big ways. Otherwise, you just go through life thinking, oh yeah, ideas are elusive. I don't have that much creativity. It's probably gonna dry up at some point. Now, that might sound better than the way you feel now, which is ideas are elusive. My creativity is gonna dry up. Same thing, just different feeling to it. But what I want you to see is that the feeling is they're showing you, hey, Charlotte, you're making this crap up. Your head is making this up. That's why it feels so bad. So it can get our attention so we don't go through life thinking that life is limited and gray and, just like that, like our mind is telling us it is. It isn't at all. It isn't at all. That's why it feels so bad. And this is true across the board, whatever we're caught up in, whatever feels hopeless and limited and scary and what if and all of that, it feels bad for excellent reason. So we can see, oh, my mind is telling me scary stories. Now, here's the thing about this, Charlotte. If you get into the content of these scary stories, it's going to be really hard to find your way out. That's true for all of us. So you're saying, you know, I've quit a bunch of things. I've had creative blocks before. I don't want to quit this. This feels so tough. Like if I'm all blocked, not only is my life going to be hard, but, you know, I'm not going to be as creative. Like you're seeing all that. So if you're right about all that, that would suck. It would really suck as a creative person, as an artist, as a writer, to dry up, to have it be torturous, to sit down, to do something, to finish a project, and rather than relaxing or celebrating, instantly getting caught up in your fear of, you know, where the next idea is going to come from. That sucks. I feel horrible for you. You're right. But see, if you camp out there and it's like, oh, well, this is true because look, I'm creative and it happens and that's my life. It's so hard to see your way out of it. But that's just because we're in the content of it. You're in the story of it. And that story looks really real, really compelling. And when a story looks really real and compelling, and our mind is super good at bringing in proof of it, of whatever we think is true, you're not likely to think your way out of it. Your mind's the one creating it to begin with. Your mind's not likely to like then create its way out of it. It doesn't really work that way. What you need to do is take a different tack. Take the higher, like a higher ground. It's like the consciousness that created the problem isn't going to be the consciousness that helps you see through it. You need to get bigger than this problem. And all this problem is, Charlotte, is a bunch of thinking. Take what it's about out of it. Take that you're creative and what could happen and this and that. Take that and set it aside. What's really going on here is your mind goes off and makes up worries. Everyone's does. It makes up what if. I mean, if it starts with what if, come on, come on. I know the content of it sucks us in because the what if we take it further, it's a really bad what if. So we will just stay stuck in it like quicksand, getting deeper and deeper as we try to dig out of it. But, you know, what if, like, come on, that's your imagination. So you want to get yourself out of the what if and this could and that happened and all of that. Just set that aside for a minute and look at this from a higher up place. All that's happening is you finish a project or you don't know what to write about or have a minute of something's not coming, right? And instantly it's like you put these glasses on. You don't do it on purpose, Charlotte, but these glasses show up on your face instantly, right? And from behind those glasses, everything looks like, oh my gosh, I'm done. No more ideas. They're so hard. You know, where are they going to come from? But honestly, please see if you can hear this and really let this in. You're just wearing glasses. You didn't even put them on. It's just that when there's an open space, your mind is used to going to, oh my gosh, it's this horrible. Where are my ideas? That's it. And in those moments, you forget. You forget that your mind, you forget that this is how life works, right? That our mind goes places and makes stuff up. And we get really caught up in it because the story's so darn compelling. So again, reading your question, it was like, oh my God, it's like any question, every single question that's sent here is like this in a sense, where it's like, you can feel the stickiness of the content. Like reading it would be like, wow, if what she's saying is right, if what she's fearing is right, man, I wouldn't want to be her. Except what you're fearing and what you're seeing, it's gibberish. It's made up. It's just fear that feels so real, feels so likely because it's all full of your content, but it isn't. So if you can kind of see it in that way before the details, before the what ifs, before all your life and what it would mean and all of that, you see that your fear is no different than anyone else's fear. Anyone else's fear is the exact same thing. It's just our mind going to a go-to place. It gets a lot of emotional punch from going to that place, so it goes there. Big deal. We want to just kind of keep seeing that in a different way. And it's so interesting, Charlotte, like reading some of the stuff that you say about ideas and creativity and all of that. I honestly see it as just the opposite. Now, I don't have the particular content and brand of fear that you have, so I would. Anyone else out there would see it as just the opposite if they don't have the fear and the thinking you have. So you say like good ideas are elusive. I don't think so. You also, in the same breath, you say good ideas are elusive, and then you say that that I'm just, these good ideas just land. I'm upset because I can't control them. They just show up when they show up. Well, you see how you're kind of like, your mind is seeing it a certain way. I have no control and they're elusive, but you're kind of, and I don't mean this about you, Charlotte, but you're kind of talking out both sides of your mouth there. You're saying they're so elusive, they're so hard to come by, and then you're saying, and they just show up all the time, and I don't have to make it happen. You see what I mean? Like, if someone came in and had their glasses on, and they're from behind their glasses, it looked like we are just bursting with creativity. We are bursting with new ideas. We're bursting with brand new thoughts and ideas all day, every day. From those glasses, they would pick out completely different parts of what you said. It'd be like, yeah, ideas do just show up without our control. Isn't that awesome? And you're seeing it as, ideas just show up without my control. That means I'm not in control. That means they're elusive, like the same facts, the same experience of life, because as far as I can see, we all have that experience of life. We are just like vessels for creativity. We don't have to do a darn thing about it. In fact, the more we try to do, probably the worse it gets. Like, we are just like, creativity just pours through us. But again, I can say that and see that because that's what my glasses are showing me. Same life, same design. We all have the same design. You're no different. But your glasses are showing you it's elusive, it's hard, and that becomes your experience. It becomes your reality. So again, don't try to talk yourself out of this. Don't try to convince yourself that it's fine if you're not creative. And it's just layers and layers and layers of content that you'll get into that won't really help. What I want you to do is set the content aside and get higher than it, and see that there's all kinds of people around the world. Some are worried about losing their creativity. Others are worried about losing their, I don't know, their youth. Others are worried right this minute about losing their security. And none of that has anything to do with the what. It just doesn't. It's just how humans work. Our mind goes places and worries about things. And the more we can see that, the more your mind is going to be so much quieter. You're going to still feel this stuff, but it will just look different. I promise you that. And then you just get up and create. And the last thing I want to leave you with, and this is a bit of a technique, and I'll just put it out there. Use it if it fits, don't if it doesn't. But in terms of creating things more, again, we're all creating all the time, so this applies to any kind of creativity. But what I really see over and over and over again is that the more we're able to just show up and do something that sucks, like the more you're willing to suck at it, the more you're going to completely see through all this stuff your mind is telling you. So your mind is telling you, it's going to dry up and I have to hoard my ideas and they're so hard to come by. I know, I absolutely know, and you see what you see about this for yourself, Charlotte, but I absolutely know that the more you just show up every day and just write or paint or whatever your arts are, the more you just show up and do those and just let it be horrible. If it's horrible, who cares? You're the judge of horrible anyway, so that's just more thinking. Just let yourself suck at it. Let yourself fail at it. That will show you. It can't not show you, wow, I sit here, it sucks, nothing comes, I do it anyway. Kind of hard, kind of a struggle, but eventually, like, you get proven wrong. And I'll just let you play with that and see. But it's the same thing. I was just last week was with the coaches that I mentor, and a lot of them are just kind of new at sharing this, and there's all this thinking about it. And it's like, we can look at that. We can, like we did here in this Ask Amy, talk about how all that fear is just thought that shows up, and see how all that works. And at the same time, there's a lot to be said for just doing it and seeing it in real life. And it's not a feel the fear and do it anyway, just do it kind of thing. Except in some ways it is, because the more you do it, the more you just have this evidence, like you just see in real time, oh wow, what they say about how our mind works really is the way it works. My mind just talks regardless of what I do. I can sit in bed and say, oh no, I'm afraid to create because there's nothing that's going to show up, and your mind will talk about it. Or you can sit down to create and your mind will talk about it. And you can sit down to create and have stuff flowing and your mind will talk about it. So it kind of separates those a bit, you know, the mental commentary that's always happening for all of us, and the act of actually just doing it anyway and seeing what happens when you do that. So I hope something in this has been helpful to you, Charlotte, and to everyone, because again, this is every single question here applies to everyone on earth in one way or another. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and I'll see you next week.